Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through a narrow underwater tunnel filled with exotic plant life, Elara clutches a pulsating ancient tomb illuminating their path, while Arik swims vigilantly nearby, blade gleaming menacingly under flickering light. Distant echoes hint at aquatic creatures steering nearby as they venture deeper into the mysterious passage, urging caution and haste in deciphering the tomb's secrets. Suddenly, the tunnel narrows further, forcing them to proceed cautiously. Under dim, bioluminescent light filtering through the narrowing underwater tunnel, Elara clutched the pulsating ancient tomb tightly, its ethereal glow barely illuminating their path ahead, while Arik's blade gleamed ominously under flickering light. Distant echoes hinted at aquatic creatures steering nearby, urging caution and haste as they inched forward cautiously, the tunnel now too narrow for them to swim side by side. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering narrowing underwater tunnel filled with exotic plant life, Elara clutches a pulsating ancient tome illuminating their path, while Arik's blade gleams ominously under flickering light. Distant echoes hint at aquatic creatures steering nearby as they proceed cautiously side by side, the tunnel now too narrow for comfortable passage. Suddenly, the tunnel opens into a vast underwater chamber filled with glowing crystals and ethereal whispers, revealing a hidden treasure trove guarded by ancient statues. As Elara and Arik entered the vast underwater chamber, filled with glowing crystals and ethereal whispers, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, while lightning illuminated their tense standoff against ancient statues, guarding a hidden treasure trove. The pulsating crystal in Elara's grasp pulsed rhythmically, hinting at valuable knowledge within reach if they could evade the Guardian's wrath. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive underwater chamber filled with glowing crystals and ethereal whispers, Elara and Arik entered cautiously, their hearts pounding with anticipation. Thunder rumbled ominously overhead as lightning illuminated their tense standoff against ancient statues guarding a hidden treasure trove, hinting at valuable knowledge within reach if they could evade the Guardian's wrath. The pulsating crystal in Elara's grasp pulsed rhythmically, guiding them towards an ornate pedestal at the chamber's heart, atop which rested an ancient tomb adorned with intricate carvings. As Elara reached for the ancient tomb atop the ornate pedestal, thunder roared ominously overhead, casting intermittent flashes that hinted at the statue's impending awakening. Arik stood vigilant nearby, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as he urged caution. We must act swiftly. Suddenly, Elara gasped, realizing the tome's carvings matched those on the awakened statues they'd encountered earlier, whispering of a dark ritual binding them to this place. Ah. Under dim bioluminescent light, Elara deciphered intricate carvings on the ancient tomb while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. Arik stood vigilant nearby, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as he urged haste. Suddenly, Elara gasped, "This ritual binds them to this place. We must find their source to pacify them." As Elara deciphered the ancient tomb's ritual binding the statues, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at their impending awakening. Arik urged haste. We must find its source before they activate. Lightning illuminated their tense standoff against the Guardians, while Elara realized the ritual required a rare underwater plant found only within this chamber. Under dim bioluminescent light, Elara and Arik searched frantically for the rare plant needed to complete the pacifying ritual, while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. As lightning illuminated their tense journey, they discovered the plant growing near a hidden underwater spring, its ethereal glow pulsating rhythmically in sync with the pulsating crystal. As Elara and Arik approached the rare plant, thunder roared ominously overhead while lightning illuminated their tense standoff against awakened statues steering nearby. With bated breath, Elara reached for the pulsating plant, its ethereal glow matching that of her crystal, whispering ancient secrets of pacification. Suddenly, the chamber trembled violently, hinting at the statue's impending wrath. As Elara clutched the pulsating plant, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' imminent activation. Arik stood vigilant nearby, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as he urged haste. We must complete the ritual now. With trembling hands, Elara began deciphering intricate carvings on the ancient tomb, whispering ancient incantations to pacify the Guardians before they unleashed their wrath. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive underwater chamber filled with glowing crystals and ethereal whispers, Elara clutches a pulsating plant, while thunder rumbles ominously overhead. Lightning illuminates her tense standoff as she begins the ritual to pacify awakened statues before they unleash their wrath. As incantations roll off her tongue, the ancient tome's pages flutter open, revealing intricate diagrams guiding her steps in the arcane ritual. Meanwhile, Arik stands vigilant nearby, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light, ready to defend them if needed. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive underwater chamber, Elara's heart pounded as she deciphered intricate arcane diagrams on the ancient tome, guiding her through the intricate ritual. Thunder rumbled ominously overhead while lightning illuminated awakened statues staring menacingly nearby, their wrath imminent if she faltered. Arik stood vigilant, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light, ready to defend them at a moment's notice. Under dim bioluminescent light, Elara deciphered intricate arcane diagrams on the ancient tome, her heart pounding with anticipation as thunder rumbled ominously overhead. Arik stood vigilant nearby, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light, ready to defend them should the ritual's incantations stir awakened statues into wrath. Meanwhile, distant echoes hinted at a hidden entrance within the chamber, whispering of potential allies or foes yet to be discovered. Under dim bioluminescent light, Elara's fingers danced over intricate arcane diagrams on the ancient tome, her heart pounding with anticipation as thunder rumbled ominously overhead. Arik stood vigilant nearby, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light, ready to defend them should the ritual's incantations awaken statues into wrath. Meanwhile, distant echoes hinted at a hidden entrance within the chamber, whispering of potential allies or foes yet undiscovered. Under dim bioluminescent light, Elara's heart raced as she deciphered the final arcane diagram. Thunder rumbles ominously overhead. Arik stood tense, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light, ready to defend them should awakened statues awaken. Suddenly, a hidden entrance within the chamber revealed itself, hinting at potential allies or foes yet undiscovered. As Elara completed the final incantation, thunder roared ominously overhead while lightning illuminated their tense standoff against awakened statues looming menacingly nearby. Arik stood vigilant, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as he urged haste. Wu must flee before they awaken. Meanwhile, the hidden entrance beckoned mysteriously, hinting at potential allies or foes within. Isn't. As Elara and Arik rushed towards the hidden entrance, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. Lightning illuminated their desperate flight while Arik urged haste. We must find allies within before they activate. The pulsating crystal in Elara's grasp guided them through a labyrinthine underwater tunnel, leading deeper into the mysterious chamber, revealing an expansive crystal cavern filled with glowing orbs and ethereal whispers hinting at ancient secrets yet to be discovered. As Elara and Arik rushed through the labyrinthine underwater tunnel, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. The pulsating crystal in Elara's grasp guided them towards an expansive crystal cavern filled with glowing orbs, their ethereal whispers suggesting ancient secrets yet to be discovered. Suddenly, they stumbled upon a hidden underwater spring, its shimmering waters hinting at healing properties that could aid their journey. As Elara and Arik discovered the healing properties of the shimmering spring, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' imminent wrath. They rushed to submerge themselves in its rejuvenating waters, while Arik urged haste. We must regain our strength quickly. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive crystal cavern filled with glowing orbs, Elara and Arik rushed towards the shimmering underwater spring, its healing properties offering much needed respite from their harrowing journey. As they submerged themselves, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at the awakened statue's relentless pursuit. Suddenly, a mysterious figure emerged from the depths, its ethereal form pulsating with otherworldly energy. As Elara and Arik surfaced from the healing spring, they found themselves face to face with an ethereal figure pulsating with otherworldly energy. "Greetings, travelers," it whispered, its form shimmering like the cavern's glowing orbs. "I am Luminora, guardian of this sacred sanctuary. You bear ancient knowledge within your grasp, I can sense it." Arik's hand tightened around his blade, but Elara stepped forward, curiosity piqued by the mysterious being. "As Under dim bioluminescent light, Elara and Arik faced Luminora, her ethereal form pulsating with otherworldly energy. "I seek your wisdom, guardian," Elara urged, presenting the ancient tome. Luminora's eyes flickered as she recognized its significance, hinting at a shared history between their peoples. Meanwhile, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, reminding them of awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive crystal cavern, Elara and Arik faced Luminora, ethereal guardian pulsating with otherworldly energy. "I seek your wisdom," Elara urged, presenting the ancient tome while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Luminora's eyes flickered as she recognized its significance, whispering, "This artifact contains knowledge long forgotten by my kin." Under dim, bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive crystal cavern filled with glowing orbs and a shimmering underwater spring, Elara and Arik faced Luminora, ethereal guardian pulsating with otherworldly energy. "I seek your wisdom, guardian," Elara urged, presenting the ancient tome while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Luminora's eyes flickered as she recognized its significance, whispering, "This artifact contains knowledge long forgotten by my kin dear." Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive crystal cavern, Elara and Arik faced Luminora, ethereal guardian pulsating with otherworldly energy as she recognized the significance of their ancient tome, hinting at long forgotten knowledge while thunder rumbles ominously overhead, threatening their journey. "I possess the ritual to pacify those statues," Elara declared, presenting her crystal and the tome, prompting Luminora's interest. Arik remained vigilant nearby, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as he urged caution. "We must trust no one completely." Under dim bioluminescent light, Elara and Arik faced Luminora, their hearts pounding with anticipation as she recognized the ancient tome's significance, hinting at long forgotten knowledge crucial to their journey. Meanwhile, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, reminding them of awakened statues' relentless pursuit. "We need your help, guardian," Elara urged, presenting her crystal and the tome while Arik stood vigilant, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive crystal cavern filled with glowing orbs and a shimmering underwater spring, Elara and Arik faced Luminora, ethereal guardian pulsating with otherworldly energy. We need your guidance," Elara urged, presenting her crystal and the ancient tome, hinting at their desperation to pacify awakened statues, pursuing them relentlessly while thunder rumbled ominously overhead. Under Luminora's scrutiny, Elara explained their quest to pacify awakened statues while thunder rumbled ominously overhead. Arik remained vigilant, his blade gleaming menacingly under flickering light as he urged caution. "I sense the ritual's power within your grasp," Luminora whispered, her form pulsating rhythmically like the cavern's glowing orbs. Under Luminora's intense scrutiny, Elara detailed their harrowing journey and desperate need for her guidance in pacifying awakened statues, pursuing them relentlessly while thunder rumbled ominously overhead. Arik's blade gleamed ominously under flickering light as he remained vigilant, urging caution against trusting the mysterious guardian too readily. Luminora listened intently before whispering, "I can aid you, but first, prove your worth." Elara presented her crystal and the ancient tome to Luminora, explaining their quest while thunder rumbled menacingly overhead. Arik remained vigilant, his blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as he urged caution against trusting the mysterious guardian too readily. "Sense the ritual's power within your grasp," Luminora whispered, her form pulsating rhythmically like the cavern's glowing orbs. However, she warned them that proving their worth was necessary before offering aid. Under Luminora's intense scrutiny, Elara explained their desperate need for her guidance in pacifying awakened statues, relentlessly pursuing them while thunder rumbled ominously overhead. Arik remained vigilant, his blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as he urged caution against placing too much trust in the enigmatic guardian. Luminora listened intently before presenting a cryptic riddle. "Answer this, what has roots that nobody sees, is taller than trees. Up it goes, and yet never grows." Elara pondered Luminora's riddle as thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at their dire circumstances. Arik urged haste. "We must answer swiftly before the statues awaken." Elara whispered the answer, "A mountain," prompting Luminora to nod approvingly. Elara whispered the answer to Luminora's riddle, prompting the Guardian to nod approvingly while thunder rumbled ominously overhead. "Correct," she acknowledged, her form pulsating rhythmically like the cavern's glowing orbs. "No, I shall aid you in pacifying those statues." Arik relaxed his vigilance slightly, but remained cautious as Elara presented their ancient tome and crystal for inspection. Thus, under Luminora's approving gaze, Elara presented their ancient tome and pulsating crystal, detailing the ritual needed to pacify awakened statues, pursuing them relentlessly while thunder rumbled ominously overhead. Arik relaxed slightly but remained vigilant, urging caution against trusting the enigmatic guardian too readily. "I can guide you through this ritual," Luminora offered, her form pulsating rhythmically like the cavern's glowing orbs. However, she warned that they must first retrieve a rare underwater plant growing near a treacherous abyss to complete the incantation. Elara eagerly accepted Luminora's guidance as they ventured deeper into the cavern, thunder rumbling ominously overhead. Arik, however, remained cautious, his blade gleaming menacingly under flickering light while urging Elara to proceed with caution. Suddenly, the ground trembled violently, hinting at awakened statues stirring nearby. "We must hurry," Luminora urged, leading them towards a treacherous abyss filled with bioluminescent plants and glowing orbs. As Elara and Arik rushed through the trembling cavern, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. Luminora led them towards a treacherous abyss filled with glowing orbs and eerie plants while urging haste. Arik remained vigilant, his blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as he warned, "Be wary of what lurks beneath." As Elara and Arik rushed towards the treacherous abyss, Luminora's form flickered like the cavern's glowing orbs, hinting at her ethereal nature. "Beware the creatures that dwell within," she warned ominously as thunder rumbled overhead. As Elara and Arik approached the treacherous abyss, Luminora's form flickered ominously, her ethereal nature hinting at hidden dangers within. Suddenly, a monstrous tentacle emerged from the depths, its glowing orbs pulsating menacingly as it sensed their presence. "We must act swiftly," Arik cried, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light. "Ah!" As Ilara and Arik prepared to battle the monstrous creature emerging from the abyss, Luminora's form shimmered ominously, revealing hidden weapons within her ethereal body. "We stand together against this foe," she declared, as thunder rumbled overhead, hinting at their dire circumstances. Under Luminora's guidance, Ilara and Arik discovered rare underwater plants growing near a treacherous abyss, their bioluminescent glow hinting at hidden dangers within. As they harvested the vital ingredient for their pacifying ritual, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, reminding them of awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Suddenly, a monstrous leviathan emerged from the depths, its pulsating orbs illuminating its deadly intent. As Ilara and Arik harvested rare underwater plants under Luminora's guidance, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Suddenly, the cavern trembled violently, revealing a hidden entrance to an ancient temple guarded by colossal stone warriors. "We must hasten," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as they rushed towards the mysterious sanctuary. As Ilara and Arik rushed towards the ancient temple revealed by the violent tremor, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. The colossal stone warriors guarding the entrance seemed to stir menacingly at their approach. "We must evade them," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as they sought another way inside. As Ilara and Arik rushed towards an ancient temple revealed by the violent tremor, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. The colossal stone warriors guarding the entrance seemed to stir menacingly at their approach. "We must evade them," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as they sought another way inside. Under dim, bioluminescent light filtering through a narrow underwater passage filled with treacherous abysses teeming with glowing orbs and eerie plants, Alara and Arik harvested rare plants under Luminora's guidance, while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at impending danger. Suddenly, a monstrous leviathan emerged from the depths, its pulsating orbs illuminating its deadly intent, prompting them to act swiftly. As Alara and Arik rushed towards the ancient temple revealed by the violent tremor, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. The colossal stone warriors guarding the entrance seemed to stir menacingly at their approach. "We must evade them," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as they sought another way inside. Meanwhile, Alara clutched her pulsating crystal tightly, whispering an ancient incantation to pacify the statues momentarily. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through a narrow underwater passage filled with treacherous abysses teeming with glowing orbs and eerie plants, Alara and Arik harvested rare plants under Luminora's guidance while thunder rumbled ominously overhead. A monstrous leviathan emerged from the depths, its pulsating orbs illuminating its deadly intent as they must act swiftly to defend themselves. As Alara and Arik evaded colossal stone warriors guarding an ancient temple revealed by a violent tremor, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Alara clutched her pulsating crystal tightly, whispering an incantation to pacify the statues briefly while Arik urged haste. "We must find another entrance before they awaken." Meanwhile, Luminora appeared by their side, revealing a hidden passage leading deeper into the temple's mysteries. As Alara and Arik followed Luminora through the hidden passage, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. The cavern walls glowed with intricate carvings that whispered ancient secrets as they ventured deeper into the temple's mysteries. Suddenly, a narrow bridge leading to a vast chasm appeared before them, its uncertain depths pulsating with an eerie energy. "We must cross swiftly," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light. As Alara and Arik crossed the narrow bridge towards an expansive chasm pulsating with eerie energy, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' imminent wrath. The uncertain depths below seemed to whisper ancient secrets, urging caution as they ventured closer to its edge. "We must tread carefully," Luminora warned, her ethereal form flickering like the cavern's glowing orbs. Ah. As Elara and Arik carefully crossed the narrow bridge over an expansive chasm pulsating with eerie energy, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. The uncertain depths below seemed to whisper ancient secrets, urging caution as they ventured closer to its edge. "We must tread carefully," Luminora warned, her ethereal form flickering like the cavern's glowing orbs. As Elara and Arik carefully crossed the narrow bridge over an expansive chasm pulsating with eerie energy, thunder rumbled ominously overhead. The uncertain depths below seemed to whisper ancient secrets, urging caution as they ventured closer to its edge. "We must tread carefully," Luminora warned, her ethereal form flickering like the cavern's glowing orbs. Suddenly, the bridge trembled violently, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. As Elara and Arik crossed the trembling bridge, Luminora urged haste. "The statues' wrath nears." Suddenly, the bridge crumbled beneath them, sending them hurtling towards the chasm's pulsating depths. As Elara and Arik plummeted towards the chasm's pulsating depths, Luminora cried out, "Grab onto me!" Her ethereal form elongated, allowing them to cling tightly as she soared upwards, narrowly evading certain doom. Meanwhile, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. As Elara and Arik clung tightly to Luminora's ethereal form, she soared upwards, narrowly avoiding the chasm's pulsating depths. Thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Suddenly, they emerged into a vast cavern filled with glowing orbs and ancient artifacts, revealing a hidden sanctuary deep within the temple's heart. As Alara and Arik clung tightly to Luminora, she soared upwards, narrowly avoiding the chasm's pulsating depths while thunder rumbled ominously overhead. Meanwhile, distant echoes hinted at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. As Alara and Arik clung tightly to Luminora's ethereal form, she soared upwards, narrowly avoiding the chasm's pulsating depths while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Meanwhile, distant echoes suggested the presence of other beings within the cavern, whispering ancient secrets that could aid their quest. As Alara and Arik clung tightly to Luminora's ethereal form, she soared upwards, narrowly avoiding the chasm's pulsating depths while thunder rumbled ominously overhead. Meanwhile, distant echoes hinted at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Suddenly, they spotted a shimmering crystal formation within the cavern, its otherworldly energy pulsating rhythmically like their own crystals. That formation might hold clues to pacifying the statues. Alara exclaimed, urging Luminora towards it. As Alara and Arik discovered the shimmering crystal formation within the vast cavern, Luminora landed gracefully beside it, her ethereal form pulsating rhythmically like its otherworldly energy. "This formation radiates immense power," she whispered, urging caution as thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. Alara eagerly approached the crystal, her heart pounding with anticipation while Arik stood vigilant nearby, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light. As Alara reached for the pulsating crystal formation, thunder rumbled menacingly overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. "Be wary, Alara," Luminora warned, her ethereal form flickering like the cavern's orbs while Arik urged haste. "We must decipher its secrets swiftly." Under Alara's touch, the crystal formation hummed ominously while thunder roared overhead. "This energy resonates with our crystals," she murmured, urging haste as Arik stood vigilant nearby. Suddenly, the cavern trembled violently, hinting at awakened statues, imminent wrath. As Elara deciphered intricate carvings adorning the crystal formation, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Arik urged haste. We must act swiftly before they surround us. Suddenly, a hidden entrance within the cavern revealed itself, whispering ancient secrets and potential allies. As Elara deciphered ancient symbols etched into the pulsating crystal formation, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' imminent wrath. Arik urged haste. We must flee before they awaken. Meanwhile, distant echoes whispered of allies within the hidden entrance revealed by her incantation. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through a trembling cavern with filled glowing orbs and ancient artifacts deep within the temple's heart, Elara deciphered intricate carvings on a pulsating crystal formation, while thunder roared ominously overhead. Arik urged haste as they discovered a hidden entrance hinting at potential allies within. As Elara deciphered the final symbol, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. Arik cried out, "The entrance! It's revealed." Together, they rushed towards it, leaving behind the pulsating crystal formation and glowing orbs of the cavern. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive temple cavern filled with ancient artifacts, Elara and Arik discovered a hidden entrance hinting at allies within as thunder rumbled ominously overhead, signaling awakened statues' impending wrath. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive temple cavern filled with ancient artifacts, Elara and Arik discovered a hidden entrance, hinting at potential allies within while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, signifying awakened statues' impending doom. As they approached the entrance, intricate carvings adorning its frame whispered of ancient secrets and tests ahead. "We must decipher these runes to proceed," Elara murmured, her heart pounding with anticipation as Arik stood vigilant nearby. As Elara examined intricate carvings adorning the hidden entrance's frame, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Arik stood vigilant nearby, his blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as he urged haste. "We must decipher these runes swiftly," Elara murmured, her heart pounding with anticipation. Under dim, bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive temple cavern filled with ancient artifacts, Elara and Arik discovered a hidden entrance, hinting at potential allies within, while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, signifying awakened statues' impending doom. As they approached the entrance, intricate carvings adorning its frame whispered of ancient secrets and tests ahead. "We must decipher these runes to proceed," Elara murmured, her heart pounding with anticipation as Arik stood vigilant nearby. Suddenly, a hidden panel within the entrance slid open, revealing a narrow passage leading deeper into the temple's mysteries. As Elara and Arik deciphered intricate runes adorning the hidden entrance's frame, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Suddenly, a narrow passage leading deeper into the temple's mysteries revealed itself before them. "We must tread carefully," Arik warned, blade gleaming menacingly under flickering light as they ventured into the unknown. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through a narrow passage leading deeper into the temple's mysteries, Elara and Arik ventured cautiously, their hearts pounding with anticipation as thunder rumbled ominously overhead. The cavern walls glistened with intricate carvings hinting at ancient secrets yet to be discovered. Suddenly, the ground trembled violently, signaling awakened statues' impending wrath. As Elara and Arik ventured cautiously through the narrow passage, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. The cavern walls glistened with intricate carvings that whispered ancient secrets as they tread carefully. their hearts pounding with anticipation. Suddenly, the ground trembled violently, signaling the statue's imminent wrath and urging haste. As Elara and Arik ventured deeper into the narrow passage, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. The cavern walls glistened with intricate carvings that whispered ancient secrets as they tread carefully, their hearts pounding with anticipation. Suddenly, a hidden pit yawned before them, its depths pulsating with an eerie energy. As Elara and Arik ventured deeper into the narrow passage, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. The cavern walls glistened with intricate carvings that whispered ancient secrets as they tread carefully, their hearts pounding with anticipation. Suddenly, a hidden pit yawned before them, its depths pulsating with an eerie energy that seemed to beckon ominously. As Elara and Arik approached the pit's edge, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' imminent wrath. The eerie energy pulsating from its depths seemed to whisper ancient secrets, urging caution yet promising valuable knowledge if they dared to explore further. "We must tread carefully," Arik warned, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as they peered into the abyss. As Elara and Arik peered into the pulsating pit, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' imminent doom. The eerie energy beckoned them towards an ancient artifact buried deep within its depths, promising invaluable knowledge if they dared to retrieve it. "We must descend cautiously," Elara urged, her heart pounding with anticipation as Arika's blade gleamed ominously under flickering light. As Elara and Arik descended cautiously into the pulsating pit, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. The ancient artifact they sought lay buried deep within its depths, promising invaluable knowledge if they dared to retrieve it. However, navigating the treacherous terrain proved challenging, with unstable ground and hidden dangers threatening their every step. "We must tread carefully," Arik warned, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Elara nodded in agreement. As Elara and Arik descended cautiously into the pulsating pit, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' imminent doom. The ancient artifact they sought lay buried deep within its depths, promising invaluable knowledge if they dared to retrieve it. However, navigating the treacherous terrain proved challenging, with unstable ground and hidden dangers threatening their every step. "We must tread carefully," Arik warned, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Elara nodded in agreement. As Elara and Arik navigated the treacherous pit, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. They discovered that the ancient artifact they sought lay encased in an ethereal barrier, pulsating rhythmically like the cavern's orbs. "This energy resonates with our crystals," Elara murmured, urging caution as Arik stood vigilant nearby. As Elara and Arik approached the ethereal barrier encasing the ancient artifact, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. The pulsating energy resonated with their crystals, whispering secrets of its power and potential dangers. "We must combine our crystals' energies to breach this barrier," Elara suggested, prompting Arik's nod of agreement as they prepared to unleash their combined might. As Elara and Arik combined their crystals' energies, the ethereal barrier surrounding the ancient artifact shimmered ominously before dissolving, revealing an intricate carving that hinted at a hidden message. Thunder rumbled menacingly overhead as they deciphered its secrets, unaware of awakened statues closing in nearby. As Elara and Arik deciphered intricate carvings hinting at a hidden message, thunder roared ominously overhead, signaling awakened statues' impending doom. Suddenly, the ground trembled violently, revealing a narrow tunnel leading to an ancient chamber filled with mysterious orbs pulsating rhythmically. "We must hurry," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Elara nodded in agreement. As Elara and Arik rushed towards the narrow tunnel, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' imminent doom. They entered an expansive chamber filled with mysterious orbs pulsating rhythmically, their ethereal whispers promising ancient knowledge and hidden secrets. As Elara and Arik rushed through the narrow tunnel, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' imminent doom. They entered an expansive chamber filled with mysteriously pulsating orbs, their ethereal whispers promising ancient knowledge and hidden secrets. Meanwhile, a colossal statue loomed menacingly at the chamber's heart, its crystal eyes gleaming ominously under flickering light. As Elara and Arik entered an expansive chamber filled with mysteriously pulsating orbs, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Suddenly, a colossal statue loomed menacingly at the chamber's heart, its crystal eyes gleaming ominously under flickering light, startling them into vigilance. As Elara and Arik faced the colossal statue, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. The mysterious orbs pulsating rhythmically within the chamber whispered ancient secrets, urging caution as they approached the menacing guardian. As Elara and Arik approached the colossal statue, thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' imminent wrath. The mysterious orbs pulsating rhythmically within the chamber whispered ancient secrets, urging caution as they prepared to engage the menacing guardian. "LLMNCU," said as Elara studied intricate carvings adorning the colossal statue. Thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. Suddenly, a hidden mechanism within the chamber triggered, revealing a narrow passage leading deeper into its mysteries. "We must hurry," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Elara nodded in agreement. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive chamber filled with mysteriously pulsating orbs, Elara studied intricate carvings adorning the colossal statue while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. Suddenly, a hidden mechanism within the chamber triggered, revealing a narrow passage leading deeper into its mysteries. "We must hurry," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Elara nodded in agreement. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through a narrow passage, Elara and Arik discovered an ancient artifact pulsating with ethereal energy while thunder rumbled ominously overhead. hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. As they approached, the artifact emitted a haunting melody that echoed through the chamber, revealing intricate carvings that whispered secrets of a hidden realm. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through a narrow passage, Ilara and Arik encountered an ancient artifact pulsating with ethereal energy, while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. As they approached, the artifact emitted a haunting melody that echoed through the chamber, revealing intricate carvings that whispered secrets of a hidden realm. As Ilara deciphered intricate carvings adorning the colossal statue, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. Suddenly, a hidden mechanism within the chamber triggered, revealing a narrow passage leading deeper into its mysteries. "We must hurry," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Ilara nodded in agreement. "Phew." As Ilara deciphered intricate carvings adorning the colossal statue, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. Suddenly, a hidden mechanism within the chamber triggered, revealing a narrow passage leading deeper into its mysteries. "We must hurry," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Ilara nodded in agreement. "So." Under dim, bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive chamber filled with mysteriously pulsating orbs, and a colossal statue looming menacingly at its heart, while thunder rumbles ominously overhead, Ilara studies intricate carvings adorning the statue. A hidden mechanism triggers, revealing a narrow passage leading deeper into the chamber's mysteries. As they ventured cautiously inside, Arik whispered, "Stay vigilant." Blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Ilara nodded, her heart pounding with anticipation. As Ilara and Arik ventured cautiously through the narrow passage, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. The pulsating orbs within whispered ancient secrets, urging caution as they navigated its treacherous depths. Suddenly, the ground trembled violently, signaling impending danger. As Elara and Arik ventured deeper into the mysterious passage, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending wrath. The pulsating orbs whispered ancient secrets, urging caution as they navigated its treacherous depths. Suddenly, a hidden trap triggered, revealing a chasm filled with deadly spikes. "We must act swiftly," Arik cried, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Elara urged haste. As Elara and Arik leaped towards safety, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. They landed safely on solid ground as the deadly chasm yawned menacingly behind them. "We must find another way out," Elara urged, her heart pounding with adrenaline while Arik nodded, his blade gleaming ominously under flickering light. "D." Under dim bioluminescent light, Elara and Arik discovered an ancient tomb pulsating with ethereal energy while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. As they approached, the artifact emitted a haunting melody that echoed through the chamber, revealing intricate carvings hinting at a secret realm beyond. As Elara and Arik approached the ancient tome, its pulsating energy resonated with their crystals, hinting at hidden knowledge within. Thunder roared ominously overhead, signaling awakened statues' relentless pursuit as they prepared to decipher its secrets. As Elara and Arik deciphered intricate carvings adorning the colossal statue, thunder roared ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. Suddenly, a hidden mechanism within the chamber triggered, revealing a narrow passage leading deeper into its mysteries. "We must hurry," Arik urged, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Elara nodded in agreement. Under dim bioluminescent light, Elara and Arik discovered an ancient map pulsating with ethereal energy while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. As they studied its intricate carvings, it revealed a secret path leading out of the temple. Under dim bioluminescent light, filtering through an expansive temple cavern filled with mysteriously pulsating orbs, Alara and Arik discovered an ancient map emitting ethereal energy while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' impending doom. As they studied its intricate carvings, it revealed a secret path leading out of the temple, offering hope amidst looming danger. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive temple cavern filled with mysteriously pulsating orbs, Alara and Arik followed the ancient map's guidance while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. Suddenly, they encountered a vast chasm blocking their path, its depths teeming with menacing spikes. "We must find a way across," Arik declared, blade gleaming ominously under flickering light as Alara urged haste, her heart pounding with anticipation. Under dim bioluminescent light filtering through an expansive temple cavern filled with mysteriously pulsating orbs, Alara and Arik discovered an ancient map, revealing a secret path leading out of the temple, while thunder rumbled ominously overhead, hinting at awakened statues' relentless pursuit. However, a vast chasm teeming with menacing spikes blocked their way, urging caution as they sought a means to cross. In the heart of the ancient elven forest of Elderglen, Blade Warden Elend and mystic scribe Thalion stood side by side, their breaths misting in the chill air as they watched an unnatural blight across lush undergrowth. A distant, mournful howl echoed through the dying woods, signaling the retreat of forest sentinels who had been defending their home against the creeping corruption. Thalion's eyes scanned the decay, his heart heavy with the weight of ancient knowledge he could not use. This blight. "It's unlike anything I've ever seen," he murmured, fingers tracing the pages of his tome. Euland nodded, her grip tightening on her blade. "We must find its source and stop it, before Elderglen is lost dust." Euland and Thalion ventured deeper into the blight, their steps weighted with determination. Eulanda's sword sliced through tendrils of darkness that sought to ensnare them, while Thalion's voice rose in an incantation, attempting to counter the corruption. Suddenly, a twisted creature emerged from the decay, its form once a forest sentinel, now warped and hostile. Thalion's incantation faltered as he recognized the creature before them, grief momentarily clouding his determination. Euland, sensing his hesitation, stepped forward, her blade singing through the air to intercept the corrupted sentinel's attack. "We must end this," she growled, "even if it means letting go of who they once were." The twisted form snarled, its eyes burning with dark energy as it launched itself at them again. Eulanda's blade met the corrupted sentinels, the clash echoing ominously through the dying forest. Thalion, regaining his composure, began another incantation, his voice barely audible over the creature's snarls. Suddenly, a burst of light from Thalion's spell illuminated the surroundings, revealing more twisted forms emerging from the shadows. As Elander's sword met the twisted sentinels again, she gritted her teeth. We need to find its core, Thalion. Behind them, more corrupted forms emerged from the decaying undergrowth. Thalion's eyes darted around, calculating. The heart of Elderglen. If this blight has a source, that's where we'll find it. He began another incantation, his voice rising above the creature's snarls. S. Yolanda's blade sang through the air as she parried another corrupted sentinel, her breaths coming in quick gasps. Thalion's incantation faltered briefly, concern etched on his face as he watched more twisted forms emerge from the decaying woods. We're running out of time, he urged, his voice barely audible over the cacophony of their battle. Eland nodded grimly, her grip tightening on her sword. As Yolanda's blade met another corrupted sentinel with a resounding clang, she caught sight of Thalion's determined face, his eyes reflecting the eerie glow of their surroundings. We're close, he grunted. I can feel it. Indeed, the pulsating energy seemed to intensify, guiding them towards an ancient, gnarled tree at the heart of Elderglen. Suddenly, a massive, twisted form emerged from the decay, once the forest sentinel captain, now a grotesque abomination. Tau. Olanda's heart pounded as she parried the captain's massive swing, its blade chipped from countless battles, now twisted into something evil. Thalion's eyes widened at the sight, his incantation faltering briefly before he gritted his teeth and pushed on, determined to counter the corruption. The pulsating energy at the tree's heart seemed to resonate with each strike, driving back the encroaching darkness, but also intensifying the blight's malevolent power. Yolanda grunted, "We need to end this quickly." Thalion, as they fought their way closer to the ancient tree, more corrupted sentinels emerged from the decaying woods, forming a circle around them, trapping them amidst the desolate heart of Elderglen. Olanda's blade clashed against the captain's twisted sword, her arms straining with each parry as Thalion's incantation reached its crescendo. The pulsating energy at the ancient tree's heart surged, revealing a dark, writhing mass within, the source of the blight. Eland gritted her teeth. That's it, Thalion. Now what? Thalion, his eyes reflecting the intense light, began weaving another spell, his voice rising above the cacophony of battle. Thalion's spell surged, tendrils of light snaking through the air towards the writhing mass at the tree's heart. The blight recoiled, its darkness momentarily faltering. "No!" Thalion shouted, and Yolanda struck with all her might, cleaving the captain's twisted sword in two. Behind them, corrupted sentinels collapsed as the source of their corruption waned. As the final tendril of darkness retreated into the earth, a heavy silence fell over Elderglen. Yolanda and Thalion stood panting, their eyes scanning the now still forest. Yolanda sheathed her sword, looking around at the recovering forest with newfound hope. Thalion closed his tome, his eyes reflecting the renewed vibrancy of Elderglen. "The blight is gone," he murmured. But what caused it? A soft rustling caught their attention. A small, frightened figure emerged from the undergrowth, a young forest sentinel, untainted by corruption. Yolanda knelt before the young forest sentinel, extending her hand in greeting. The child's eyes widened, but it tentatively reached out, small fingers brushing against hers. Thalion watched, a soft smile playing on his lips as hope stirred within him. "You're safe now," Elenda whispered, standing up and looking around at the recovering forest. "We need to find out what happened here, though." The young sentinel nodded solemnly, leading them deeper into Elderglen. As they followed the young sentinel deeper into Elderglen, the forest renewal became more apparent, life springing forth like tender green shoots after rain. Olenda marveled at the rapid recovery, her heart swelling with hope. Thalion, however, remained focused, his brow furrowed in thought as he scanned the forest floor for clues. The young forest sentinel led them to a hidden glade where an ancient stone altar stood, untouched by the blight yet radiating a residual dark energy. Yolanda's hand tightened around her sword as she sensed it, her eyes scanning the surroundings warily. Thalion approached the altar, his fingers tracing intricate runes etched into its surface. This was no natural corruption, he murmured. Someone summoned this blight deliberately. Thalion's discovery sent a shiver down Yolanda's spine, her grip tightening on her sword as she thought of potential culprits. The young sentinel looked up at them, eyes wide with fear and understanding. They said, "Someone had to pay for our protection," it whispered, its voice barely audible. Olenda's heart pounded as she processed Thalion's discovery, her eyes scanning the glade for any signs of who might have done this. The young sentinel took a shaky breath. They wore masks, like twisted branches. Thalion nodded grimly. "We need to find these cultists and put an end to their machinations." Yolanda's mind raced as she pieced together the young sentinel's words with Thalion's discovery. The cultists' use of an ancient altar hinted at dark rituals, fueling her resolve to find them. She turned to Thalion. "We need more information on these masked ones." He nodded, already flipping through his tome for relevant entries. Is Yolanda's eyes narrowed as she read Thalion's notes on the masked cultists, her grip tightening around the pommel of her sword. "These aren't just random zealots," she murmured. "They are organized, calculated." The young forest sentinel nodded solemnly, adding, "And they have allies among us." A distant howl echoed through Elderglen, signaling more than mere traitors. Yolanda's eyes flashed with resolve as she looked at the young sentinel. "We must warn the others." Thalion nodded, closing his tome. "And find these cultists' stronghold before they strike again." The distant howl intensified, urgency propelling their steps towards the source of the smoke. As they moved through Elderglen, whispers reached them of fallen village at the forest edge. As Yolanda Thalion and the young forest sentinel approached the edge of Elderglen, the smoldering remains of a village came into view, its once cheerful cottages reduced to charred ruins. The acrid scent of smoke hung heavy in the air, stinging their eyes and tightening their throats. Amongst the wreckage they found bodies, both human and sentinel, twisted in unnatural poses, signs of dark magic etched into their lifeless forms. Olenda's heart pounded with anger and grief as she knelt beside one of the fallen villagers, her fingers brushing against the dark sigil burned into their flesh. Thalion's face paled as he recognized the mark, whispering, "This is the work of the cult of the Blighted Oak." The young forest sentinel nodded, tears streaming down its cheeks. They said they'd show no mercy if we didn't complete us. Yolendi's breath hitched as she recognized the dark sigil among the fallen villagers. It was similar to those etched into the ancient altar. Thalian's eyes met hers, determination burning within them. "We must find their stronghold and end this," he growled, clenching his fist around his tome. The young forest sentinel nodded, leading them towards a hidden path leading deeper into Elderglen. As they ventured deeper along the hidden path, the once lush forest began to change, twisted shadows clinging to gnarled trees like grasping fingers. Elander's blade whispered through the air, parting cobwebs spun by unseen spiders. Thalian's voice rose in a soft incantation, guiding them towards the heart of darkness. Suddenly, a low growl echoed through the gloom, and a massive, twisted wolf emerged from the undergrowth, a corruption of nature itself. Yolanda's blade met the twisted wolf's fangs with a clash of steel and fang, her eyes locked onto its malevolent gaze as she fought to protect Thalian and the young sentinel. The creature snarled, lunging him again, its movements unnaturally fast. Thalian, his voice steady despite the fear gripping him, began an incantation that glowed with light, counteracting the darkness that clung to the beast. As the wolf recoiled from Thalian's spell, Elender struck, her blade plunging deep into its chest. With a final howl, it collapsed, the darkness within it dissipating. As Euland cleaned her blade on the fallen wolf's pelt, Thalian's gaze fell upon an inscription etched into its collar. "This creature. It was once a sentinel," he murmured, grief hitching his voice. The young forest sentinel beside them nodded sadly, confirming their fears. They stood in silence for a moment before Elend broke the somber atmosphere. "We must press on." The path ahead seemed to darken further at her words. Elenda's heart heavy with determination, she led their small group deeper into Elderglen's corrupted heart, Thalian's light guiding them through the oppressive shadows. The young sentinel pointed towards a towering fortress carved into a cliff face, its dark stone oozing malevolence, the cultists' stronghold. As they approached, distant screams echoed from within, urging haste. Olendi's heart pounded as she led their small group towards the ominous fortress, Thalian's light cutting through the oppressive gloom. The young sentinel clutched her hand tightly, its eyes wide with fear yet determined to face whatever lay ahead. As they reached the towering gates, Elend could feel the dark power emanating from within, the source of Elderglen's corruption. Alanda's heart raced as she pushed open the heavy gates, revealing a courtyard filled with cultists performing dark rituals around a massive, pulsating orb, the heart of the corruption. Thalian gasped. "That's it. That's what we need to destroy." The young sentinel nodded. "But first, we must save them," gesturing towards captured villagers and sentinels being led into the fortress. "Do." Yolinda's gaze swept across the courtyard, calculating their odds against the cultists. Thalian, his eyes reflecting the pulsating orb, whispered, "We'll need a distraction." The young sentinel pointed towards a crumbling tower. "There's a hidden entrance there, but it's guarded." Olendi's eyes met Thalian's, silent understanding passing between them. "We'll create the distraction," she murmured, drawing her sword with stealthy precision. The young sentinel nodded solemnly. "I'll guide you through the hidden entrance." As they slipped towards the crumbling tower, the pulsating orb cast eerie shadows as across their path. As Yulandi, Thalion, and the young sentinel reached the crumbling tower, they spotted two cultists standing guard, oblivious to their approach. The young sentinel pointed to a narrow gap in the masonry. "That leads inside." Yulandi nodded, drawing her sword silently. Yolanda's blade whispered through the air as she took out the first guard silently, Thalion stepping forward to subdue the second with a swift strike from his staff. The young sentinel led them into the dark interior of the tower, its heart pounding in rhythm with their hurried steps. As they descended deeper into the tower, the air grew colder and heavier with an oppressive energy. Eilendith misted before her as she followed Thalion and the young sentinel through the narrow passage. Suddenly, the ground beneath them trembled, and distant screams echoed through the ancient stone, a sign that their presence had been detected. Yolanda's heart pounded as they emerged from the tower into a vast underground chamber, lit by flickering torches that cast ominous shadows on the pulsating orb at its center. Thalion gasped. "The heart of the Blight." The young sentinel pointed towards a group of captive villagers and sentinels, their eyes filled with fear and desperation. Yolanda's grip tightened on her sword, resolve burning within her. "Ah." Erland's eyes scanned the chamber, calculating their chances against the cultists gathered around the orb. Thalion approached the captives, his voice soothing as he assured them of rescue. The young sentinel turned to Erland. "We need a plan," she nodded grimly, her gaze fixed on the pulsating heart of the Blight. Yolanda's mind raced with possible plans as Thalion began whispering incantations under his breath, preparing a spell to counter the orb's power. The young sentinel watched them both intently, ready to spring into action. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the chamber. "Intruders? Seize them?" Cultists surged towards them, weapons drawn. Yolanda's blade sang as she met the first cultist's attack, her eyes scanning for an opening amidst their onslaught. Thalion's incantation reached a crescendo, his hands weaving intricate patterns in the air. The young sentinel darted forward, freeing a captive sentinel who joined the fray. Alanda's blade danced with practiced ease as she parried blows from multiple cultists, her eyes never straying from the pulsating orb at the chamber's heart. Thalion, his incantation complete, raised his hands towards the orb, channels of light snaking through the air and connecting to it. The young sentinel, now joined by several freed captives, fought fiercely alongside Aland, their combined might pushing back the cultists' onslaught. Yulandi's blade met another cultist strike with a resounding clang as Thalian's light began to drain the orb's power. The freed captives fought valiantly alongside her, their combined strength pushing back the relentless assault. As the orb's power waned, the cultists' frenzied attacks intensified, driven by desperation and fear. Yuland gritted her teeth, bracing for another wave of assault. As the orb's pulsations grew weaker, Yuland found an opening in their defenses, her blade deflecting an incoming strike just in time to see Thalian stumble, overwhelmed by the dark energy he was absorbing. The young sentinel cried out in alarm, breaking formation to rush towards him. Olanda's heart leapt into her throat as Thalian collapsed, the young sentinel darting towards him amidst the chaos. With renewed vigor, she fought through the remaining cultists, determination burning within her. As the last cultist fell, she rushed to Thalian's side, his face pale and sweaty from exertion. Yolanda's hands trembled as she cradled Thalian's head, her heart pounding with fear. The young sentinel looked on helplessly, its eyes welling with tears. "We need to get him out of here," Yolanda urged, glancing at the still, pulsating orb. She stood, scooping Thalian into her arms as she barked orders to the freed captives. Yolanda carried Thalian briskly through the tower's winding passages, the young sentinel leading them towards an alternate exit. The pulsating orb's dim light flickered ominously behind them, its power waning but not yet extinguished. As they emerged from the tower, Yolanda's heart leapt at the sight of allies. A band of armed sentinels and villagers had gathered outside, ready to support them. Their leader stepped forward, relief etched on his face. "We were worried about you all." The young sentinel nodded towards him. "This is Captain Ilarion. He'll help us." Captain Ilarion took Thalian's weight from Yolanda, allowing her to catch her breath. "We'll get him to safety," he promised, striding towards the waiting group. The young sentinel nodded solemnly. "The others, they need our help too." Yolanda glanced back at the tower, resolve burning within her. "Let's make sure this ends here," she growled. Yolanda followed Captain Ilarion and the young sentinel back towards the courtyard, determination etched on her face as she surveyed their allies. "We need to destroy that orb," she declared, pointing towards the pulsating heart of the corruption. The captain nodded grimly. "Leave that to me." As they approached the stronghold's entrance, cultists emerged from within, desperation driving them towards a final stand. As cultists charged, Yolanda's blade met their desperate strikes with practiced ease, her resolve unwavering. Captain Ilarion barked orders, organizing their allies into a defensive line. The young sentinel darted through the chaos, rallying remaining captives to join them. Suddenly, a cultist leader emerged, his eyes burning with malevolent energy as he raised a ritual dagger towards Yolanda. "Do." Yolanda's blade danced with newfound ferocity as she parried the cultist leader's strike, his ritual dagger clashing against her steel. Behind them, their allies fought valiantly. Captain Laian's battle cries echoing through the courtyard. The young sentinel, now leading a group of freed captives, charged at the remaining cultists, determination burning in their eyes. As Elendil's blade met the cultist leaders with a resounding clang, she felt his dark energy surge through her, threatening to consume her resolve. Behind them, their allies fought valiantly, Captain Ilarian's battle cries echoing through the courtyard. The young sentinel, now leading a group of freed captives, charged at the remaining cultists, determination burning in their eyes. Yolanda gritted her teeth as the cultist leader's dark energy surged through her, threatening to consume her resolve. With a mighty cry, she channeled her inner strength, countering his malevolent power with an explosive burst of light from her blade. Behind them, their allies fought valiantly, Captain Ilarian's battle cries echoing through the courtyard as freed captives joined the fray under the young sentinel's guidance. As Yolanda's blade sang with newfound ferocity, she met the cultist leader's desperate strikes with unwavering resolve. Behind them, their allies fought valiantly, Captain Ilarian's battle cries echoing through the courtyard as freed captives joined the fray under the young sentinel's guidance. Yolanda's blade met the cultist leaders with a resounding clang as she channeled her inner strength against his malevolent power. Captain Ilarian rallied their allies, driving back the remaining cultists while freed captives fought alongside them, hope burning in their eyes. In the heart of the battle, Thalion stirred, his voice rising in an incantation that matched Yolanda's blade, banishing the last remnants of darkness. As Yolanda's blade sang with newfound ferocity, she met the cultist leaders' desperate strikes with unwavering resolve. Behind them, their allies fought valiantly, Captain Ilarian's battle cries echoing through the courtyard as freed captives joined the fray under the young sentinel's guidance. Thalion stirred, his voice rising in an incantation that matched Yolanda's blade, banishing the last remnants of darkness. As Yolanda's blade struck down the cultist leader, his malevolent energy dissipated, signaling the end of the blight. Exhausted but triumphant, she turned to find Thalion standing, supported by Captain Ilarian, his incantation completed and the pulsating orb now extinguished. Around them, freed captives embraced their liberators amidst a sea of fallen cultists. Uland, Thalion, and their allies stood victorious amidst the smoldering ruins of the cultists' stronghold, relief washing over them as they surveyed the fallen enemies. Captain Ilarian turned to Uland. "We couldn't have done this without you both." The young forest sentinel nodded solemnly. "And you, Captain." Thalion, now recovered, placed a hand on Elendi's shoulder, gratitude in his eyes. Exhausted but triumphant, Yoland and Thalion turned their attention to the freed captives, ensuring they were unharmed and ready to return home. Captain Ilarian, impressed by their unity, offered his aid in rebuilding Elderglen. As they prepared to leave the stronghold, a sudden tremor shook its foundations, revealing a hidden chamber beneath. LLMM EU. said Oland. His eyes narrowed as she surveyed the trembling ruins, her instincts screaming danger. "We need to get everyone out," she urged, helping Thalion support an injured captive. Captain Ilarion nodded grimly, barking orders for a hasty evacuation. Elam. As the stronghold crumbled around them, Elend and Thalion rushed to evacuate the freed captives, their hearts pounding with urgency. Captain Ilarion led his sentinels, guiding them safely through the chaos. Suddenly, a section of the fortress collapsed, revealing an ancient symbol etched in the stone floor, a warning of deeper danger beneath. As Eland and Thalion helped the last captive to safety, they turned back towards the crumbling stronghold, determination etched on their faces. "We must ensure there's nothing left that could reignite this darkness," Eland growled, drawing her sword. Thalion nodded, his hands weaving a precautionary spell as they ventured into the collapsing fortress. As Eland and Thalion ventured deeper into the crumbling stronghold, the air grew thick with dust and the scent of ancient magic. The ancient symbol on the floor pulsed ominously, warning them of hidden dangers lurking beneath. Yolanda's grip tightened on her sword. This isn't right. Thalion nodded grimly, his spell casting an eerie glow upon the pulsating symbol. As Elend and Thalion approached the pulsating symbol, it began to emit an eerie hum, resonating with dark energy. This is ancient magic, Thalion murmured, his eyes widening in realization. Elendi's grip tightened on her sword as she prepared to destroy the source of danger. Suddenly, a hidden door slid open beneath the symbol, revealing a descending staircase bathed in an ominous red glow. Sucker. Yolanda's heart pounded as she led Thalion down the hidden staircase, their breaths misting in the humid air. The red glow intensified, casting eerie shadows upon ancient carvings lining the walls. This feels like a trap, Thalion murmured, his voice barely audible over the pulsating energy. As Eland and Thalion reached the bottom of the staircase, they found a vast chamber filled with ancient artifacts and pulsating energy. Eland's breath hitched as she took in the scene, her sword trembling slightly in her grasp. Thalion, his eyes reflecting concern, whispered, This is more than just a cult's lair." Behind them, the hidden door slammed shut, sealing their fate within the ominous chamber. "Do." As Eland and Thalion explored the vast chamber, they discovered ancient tomes filled with dark incantations and artifacts pulsating with malevolent energy. This is a nexus of corruption," Thalion murmured, his eyes reflecting concern as he scanned the arcane texts. Yolanda nodded grimly, her grip tightening on her sword. "We need to find its source and destroy it." Suddenly, an ethereal voice echoed through the chamber. "Intruders, prepare to face your doom. Ass." As the ethereal voice echoed, tendrils of dark energy snaked towards them from unseen sources. Yolanda's blade sang through the air as she deflected the magical assaults, while Thalion hurriedly scanned ancient tomes for a counter spell. "We need to find this chamber's core," he urged, desperation creeping into his voice. As Yoland and Thalion fought off the tendrils of dark magic, they noticed a pulsating orb at the chamber's heart, its malevolent energy feeding the attacks. "That must be the source," Erland growled, charging towards it with her blade raised. Thalion nodded, quickly weaving a counter spell as he followed close behind. Suddenly, an enormous creature emerged from the shadows, a twisted guardian of the Nexus, its body pulsating with dark energy. The ethereal voice echoed again, "Fools, you shall not pass." With newfound determination, Blade Warden Eland charged towards the pulsating orb at the chamber's heart, her blade singing through the air as she deflected tendrils of dark magic. Mystic Scribe Thalion rushed behind her, weaving a counterspell to disrupt the orb's power. Suddenly, an enormous creature emerged from the shadows, a twisted guardian of the Nexus, its body pulsating with dark energy. The ethereal voice echoed once more, "Fools, you shall not pass." As Eland and Thalion faced off against the monstrous guardian, the chamber trembled ominously, signaling an impending release of pent-up power. As Elandi's blade clashed with the guardian's, she felt its dark energy surge against her, threatening to consume her resolve. Thalion, his incantation complete, stepped forward, channeling a beam of light into the orb. "No!" he cried, and Eland struck with all her might. The orb shattered, releasing a wave of pure energy that engulfed them. As the wave of energy engulfed them, Eland and Thalion felt their very essence shift, darkness banished from the chamber. The guardian screamed, its form dissolving into motes of light. Behind them, the orbs shattering released a powerful surge that coursed through ancient artifacts, rendering them inert. As the pulsating energy subsided, they found themselves alone in a silent, empty chamber. "We did it," Eland breathed, relief washing over her as she turned to Thalion. Exhausted but triumphant, Eland and Thalion ascended the hidden staircase, leaving behind the emptied chamber. Upon reaching the stronghold's ruins, they found Captain Ilarion and his sentinels awaiting their return. "While you feared the worst," the captain admitted, relief etched on his face. Eland nodded grimly. "The Nexus is destroyed, but we must remain vigilant." Behind them, Eldeglin's forest began to stir, its healing process accelerated by the banished corruption. As Eland and Thalion rejoined their allies, they shared tales of the Nexus's destruction. Gratitude reflected on the faces of those who had been saved. Eldeglin's forest, now freed from corruption, responded with renewed vibrancy as leaves budded and flowers bloomed around them. However, a distant rumble hinted at lingering instability in the stronghold's remains, prompting Eland to suggest, "We should evacuate everyone until we're sure it won't collapse further." Thus, with newfound hope, Eland and Thalion led their allies out of the crumbling stronghold, Eldeglin's forest welcoming them with renewed life as they retreated to safety. As they regrouped at the edge of the revitalized woods, Captain Ilarion turned to Eland. "Your bravery has saved us all, Blade Warden." The young forest sentinel nodded solemnly in agreement, its eyes reflecting newfound respect for their heroes. Suddenly, a chilling howl echoed through Eldeglin, hinting at unseen threats lurking within the recovering forest. As the chilling howl echoed through Eldeglin, Elanda's hand instinctively went to her sword, Thalion's eyes scanning the recovering forest for any sign of threat. Captain Ilarion exchanged a worried glance with his sentinels, their hands poised on their weapons. "What could that be?" the young forest sentinel asked, its voice barely audible over the unsettling sound. As the ominous howl faded, Elanda's eyes narrowed, her instincts screaming danger. "We should investigate," she urged, leading them cautiously into Eldeglin's recovering heart. Thalion nodded grimly, his hands weaving a detection spell to reveal hidden threats. Captain Ilarion and his sentinels followed, weapons drawn amidst the lush undergrowth. Suddenly, the young forest sentinel froze, pointing towards a twisted, shadowy figure darting between the trees. As Elandi's eyes tracked the shadowy figure, she recognized it as one of the corrupted forest sentinels from before, now freed but still twisted by darkness. "We need to help it," she urged, charging after the fleeing creature with Thalion and their allies close behind. The twisted sentinel led them deeper into Eldeglin's heart, its movements erratic yet purposeful. D. As Eland pursued the fleeing forest sentinel, she noticed its movements becoming more erratic, as if fighting against some unseen force. Thalion, his detection spell revealing tendrils of dark energy clinging to the creature, suggested it's still under the cult's influence. Captain Ilarion nodded grimly, ordering his sentinels to ready their nets for a non-lethal capture. The young forest sentinel, however, hesitated, its eyes reflecting empathy for the tormented being. Elenda, her heart pounding with urgency, led the pursuit as they navigated Eldeglin's dense undergrowth. Thalion's detection spell revealed the dark energy clinging to their quarry, its movements growing increasingly erratic. Captain Ilarion, ordering his sentinels to ready their nets, urged caution. "We must be swift but careful." The young forest sentinel, however, hesitated, its eyes reflecting empathy for the tormented creature. Elandi's heart pounded as she pursued the fleeing forest sentinel, her determination unwavering. Thalion, his detection spell revealing the dark energy's grip on their quarry, urged caution. "We must act swiftly but carefully." Captain Ilarion nodded grimly, ordering his sentinels to ready their nets for a non-lethal capture. The young forest sentinel, however, hesitated, its eyes reflecting empathy for the tormented creature. Aulendi's heart pounded as she pursued the fleeing forest sentinel, her determination unwavering. Thalion, his detection spell revealing the dark energy's grip on their quarry, urged caution. "We must act swiftly but carefully." Captain Ilarion nodded grimly, ordering his sentinels to ready their nets for a non-lethal capture. The young forest sentinel hesitated, its eyes reflecting empathy as it watched its tormented kin struggle against unseen forces. As Eolanda closed in on the fleeing forest sentinel, Thalion's spell revealed tendrils of dark energy constricting its movements. Captain Ilarion ordered his sentinels to net it, while the young forest sentinel urged caution. "Be gentle. It's still one of us." Eolanda nodded, sheathing her sword and reaching out to calm the tormented creature. As they approached, however, the dark energy surged, causing the forest sentinel to lash out defensively. As Elend reached out to calm the tormented forest sentinel, it lashed out defensively, its eyes burning with malevolent energy. Thalion quickly wove a counter spell, casting tendrils of light that wrapped around the creature, neutralizing its dark influence. Captain Ilarion and his sentinels moved in, deftly securing the freed but weakened forest sentinel amidst Eldeglin's dense undergrowth. With the rescued forest sentinel secure, Eoland turned to Thalion. "Can you heal it?" He nodded grimly, beginning an incantation that cast ethereal tendrils around their captive kin. Meanwhile, Captain Ilarion organized his sentinels. ready to return their ally to safety. The young forest sentinel approached the weakened creature, offering a comforting touch. As Thalian's spell took effect, the dark energy dissipated, revealing an exhausted but freed comrade. Su. As Thalian's incantation banished the dark energy, the rescued forest sentinel's eyes fluttered open, recognition dawning within them. Eland offered a gentle smile. "You're safe now." Behind them, Captain Ilarion and his sentinels stood vigilant, ready to escort their freed ally back to safety. The young forest sentinel beamed at its rescued kin. "We thought we'd lost you." Thalian nodded grimly. "Let's get you out of here." As Euland and Thalian tended the rescued forest sentinel, Captain Ilarion reported that scouts had found signs of cultist activity near the village. Euland's face darkened with resolve. "We must investigate." Thalian nodded solemnly, his hands already weaving a detection spell for their journey. Eolanda's heart pounded as she considered Captain Ilarion's report, her mind racing with potential threats. Thalian, sensing her urgency, quickly finished his incantation, ready for their journey ahead. The young forest sentinel nodded solemnly. "I'll lead the way." Together, they ventured towards the suspected cultist activity, weapons drawn and senses heightened. As Eland, Thalian, and their young guide followed Captain Ilarion's lead towards suspected cultist activity, they remained vigilant, senses heightened for any hidden threats. The dense undergrowth of Elderglen began to thin, revealing glimpses of the nearby village amidst the lush foliage. Eulandi's grip tightened on her sword, resolve burning within her as she prepared to confront any foes that lay ahead. As Elander's party approached the village, they spotted smoke rising from a nearby cottage, signaling potential trouble. Thalian urged caution, one should investigate. The young forest sentinel nodded grimly, leading them towards the distressed homestead amidst the lush foliage of Elderglen. As Elandi's party approached the smoking cottage, they heard faint cries for help from within. Thalion urged caution. We should investigate. The young forest sentinel nodded grimly, leading them towards the distressed homestead amidst the dense undergrowth of Elderglen. Yolanda's heart pounded as she prepared to confront whatever lay ahead, her grip tightening on her sword. As Elander's party approached the distressed cottage, they realized the cries for help came from within a hidden cellar. Thalion suggested they search the premises, while the young forester sentinel agreed, leading them cautiously inside. The smoke thickened, obscuring their vision as they descended into darkness. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, brandishing an axe. Intruder, it screamed. As Elander's party rushed towards the axe-wielding figure, she instinctively deflected its strike with her sword, while Thalion cast a blinding light spell to illuminate the smoky cellar. The young forest sentinel quickly subdued their assailant, revealing it to be an elderly villager driven mad by fear and smoke inhalation. Yolanda's heart pounded as she deflected the elderly villager's desperate swing, concern etched on her face. Thalion quickly cast a blinding light spell, revealing the terrified figure's true nature. The young forest sentinel moved swiftly to subdue their assailant, ensuring no harm came to them amidst the chaos. Above ground, Captain Alarion and his sentinels extinguished the cottage fire, smoke clearing to reveal a hidden entrance to a mysterious underground chamber. Yolanda's heart raced as she recognized the elderly villager, her blade pausing mid-strike. "It's old man Grimly!" she exclaimed, lowering her weapon. Thalion quickly extinguished his light spell, allowing them to discern the terrified figure before them. The young forest sentinel gently disarmed the panicked villager, soothingly whispering reassurances as Eland approached him with concern. Above ground, Captain Alarion and his sentinels rushed in, their faces reflecting relief at finding no immediate threat. With Old Man Grimly subdued and the fire extinguished, Elle and his party turned their attention to the revealed underground chamber, its entrance hinting at hidden secrets within Elderglen. Thalion urged caution as they descended, his detection spell revealing traces of dark energy lingering beneath. Above ground, Captain Ilarion organized his sentinels to secure the perimeter and keep watch for any sign of further danger. As Eland, Thalion, and the young forest sentinel ventured deeper into the chamber, its walls adorned with ancient carvings, they found themselves face to face with a hidden sanctuary, a haven for Elderglen's refugees. As Eula and his party explored the hidden sanctuary, they discovered remnants of ancient rituals and artifacts, suggesting this was once a sacred place for Elderglen's inhabitants. Thalion's detection spell revealed residual dark energy, hinting at recent cultist activity. The young forest sentinel gasped, This is where they took our people." Above ground, Captain Ilarion and his sentinels stood vigilant, guarding against any threat that might emerge from the depths. 2. Eolinda's heart pounded as she surveyed the hidden sanctuary, her mind racing with questions about its purpose and recent cultist activity. Thalion, his detection spell revealing residual dark energy, urged caution as they ventured deeper into the chamber. The young forest sentinel led them towards a dimly lit altar at its heart, where ancient rituals had once been performed. As Euland approached the altar, she noticed an ancient tome resting upon it, its pages filled with dark incantations. Thalion's face paled as he scanned its contents, whispering, This is how they summoned the Blight." The young forest sentinel gasped, "We must destroy it." Above ground, Captain Ilarion and his sentinels heard ominous rumblings, signaling an impending collapse of the hidden chamber. Eolinda's heart raced as she read the ancient tome's dark incantations, understanding their power and the danger they posed if left unchecked. Thalion, pale from the grim knowledge he'd gained, urged haste in destroying it. The young forest sentinel nodded eagerly, "We can't let them summon more darkness." Above ground, Captain Ilarion barked orders for his sentinels to evacuate the area, the hidden chamber's walls trembling ominously. "Sir." Eolinda's heart pounded as she read the ancient tome's dark incantations, realizing their power and the dire consequences if left unchecked. Thalion, pale from the grim knowledge he'd gained, urged haste in destroying it. The young forest sentinel nodded eagerly, "We must act now." Above ground, Captain Ilarion barked orders for his sentinels to evacuate as the hidden chamber's walls trembled ominously. Aelinda's heart raced as she read the ancient Tom's dark incantations, understanding their power and the danger they posed if left unchecked. Thalion, pale from the grim knowledge he'd gained, urged haste in destroying it. The young forest sentinel nodded eagerly. "We must act now." Above ground, Captain Ilarion barked orders for his sentinels to evacuate as the hidden chamber's walls trembled ominously. "Do." As Eland read the tome's dark incantations, she realized the impending doom if they didn't act swiftly. Thalia nodded grimly, weaving an intricate counter spell to neutralize its power. The young forest sentinel grabbed the tome, ready to destroy it. Above ground, Captain Ilarion barked orders for his sentinels to evacuate as the chamber walls collapsed around them. "Ye." Olanda's heart pounded as she read the tome's dark incantations, her mind racing with plans to neutralize their power before the chamber collapsed. Thalion nodded grimly, weaving an intricate counter spell that glowed ethereally around his hands. The young forest sentinel prepared to strike the tome with its flaming torch, determined to destroy it amidst the crumbling sanctuary. Above ground, Captain Ilarion urged his sentinels to hurry as they evacuated the unstable area. As Uland read the tome's final incantation, she felt its dark power pulse through her veins, threatening to consume her. Thalion urged haste, his counter spell ready, while the young forest sentinel struck the flaming torch towards the ancient text. Above ground, Captain Ilarion shouted, "Hurry, the entrance is collapsing." As Aeland read the final incantation, she felt darkness surge within her, threatening to consume all light. Thalion's counter spell pulsed against it, while the young forest sentinel struck the flaming torch, engulfing the tome in flames. Above ground, Captain Ilarion shouted, "Hurry, the entrance is caving in." As Aeland read the final incantation, darkness surged within her, threatening to consume all light. Thalion's counter spell pulsed against it, while the young forest sentinel struck the flaming torch, engulfing the tome in flames. Above ground, Captain Ilarion shouted, "Hurry! The entrance is caving in!" Yolanda's heart leapt as she read the final incantation, darkness surging within her despite Talion's counter spell and the young forest sentinel's burning torch. Above ground, Captain Ilarion urged haste. "We must evacuate now. The chamber is collapsing." Yolanda's heart pounded as she struggled against the darkness consuming her, Thalion's counter spell flickering weakly amidst the inferno. The young forest sentinel cried out, "We must leave now." Captain Ilarion shouted from above, "The entrance is blocked. We'll need to find another way out." Yolanda's heart raced as she read the final incantation, darkness threatening to consume her despite Talion's counter spell and the young forest sentinel's burning torch. Above ground, Captain Ilarion shouted, "We must evacuate now! The chamber is collapsing!" Yolanda's heart hammered as she read the final incantation, darkness threatening to overwhelm her despite Thalion's counter spell. "We must find another way out," she cried, desperation etched on her face. Thalion nodded grimly, his hands weaving a new spell amidst the collapsing chamber. The young forest sentinel urged caution. But how? Yolanda's heart pounded as she read the final incantation, darkness threatening to overwhelm her despite Thalion's counter spell. "We must find another way out," she cried, desperation etched on her face. Thalion nodded grimly, his hands weaving a new spell amidst the collapsing chamber. The young forest sentinel urged caution. But how? Yuland, his heart hammered as she fought against the overwhelming darkness, Thalion's counter spell flickering weakly amidst the inferno. The young forest sentinel urged haste. We must find another way out before it's too late. Above ground, Captain Alaria and his sentinels frantically dug through debris blocking their path to safety. 2. As Eland fought against the overwhelming darkness, Thalion's new spell pulsated with light, banishing the shadows momentarily. The young forest sentinel pointed towards a narrow tunnel. That way, it leads outside. Above ground, Captain Alarian and his sentinels cheered as they finally cleared the debris blocking their path to safety. As Illinder fought against the overwhelming darkness, Thalion's new spell pulsated with light, briefly banishing the shadows. The young forest sentinel pointed towards a narrow tunnel. That way? It leads outside. Above ground, Captain Alarian and his sentinels cheered as they finally cleared the debris blocking their path to safety. As Yulinda fought against the overwhelming darkness, Thalion's new spell pulsated with light, briefly banishing the shadows. The young forest sentinel pointed towards a narrow tunnel. That way. It leads outside. Above ground, Captain Alarian and his sentinels cheered as they finally cleared the debris blocking their path to safety. Arlanda's heart pounded as she read the final incantation, darkness threatening to consume her despite Thalion's counter spell and the young forest sentinel's burning torch. Above ground, Captain Alarian shouted urgent orders as the chamber collapsed around them, sending debris cascading downwards. "We must evacuate now," he cried, leading his sentinels through the narrow escape tunnel pointed out by the young forest sentinel. Thalion's light spell flickered weakly, illuminating their path amidst the chaos. As Yuland read the final incantation, darkness surged within her despite Thalion's counter spell and the young forest sentinel's burning torch. Above ground, Captain Ilarian shouted urgent orders as the chamber collapsed around them, sending debris cascading downwards. "We must evacuate now," he cried, leading his sentinels through a narrow escape tunnel pointed out by the young forest sentinel. Thalion's light spell flickered weakly, illuminating their path amidst the chaos. As Eland fought against the overwhelming darkness, Thalion's new spell pulsated with light, briefly banishing the shadows. The young forest sentinel pointed towards a narrow tunnel. That way, it leads outside. Above ground, Captain Ilarion and his sentinels cheered as they finally cleared the braggers blocking their path to safety. Yolanda's heart raced as she read the final incantation, darkness threatening to overwhelm her despite Thalion's counter spell. Above ground, Captain Ilarion shouted urgent orders as the chamber collapsed around them, sending debris cascading downwards. "We must evacuate now," he cried, leading his sentinels through a narrow escape tunnel pointed out by the young forest sentinel. As they ventured deeper into the winding passage, Thalion's light spell flickered weakly, illuminating their precarious journey amidst crumbling walls and tendrils of smoke. As Elenid and Thalion ventured deeper into the narrow escape tunnel, darkness threatened to consume them despite their desperate flight. Behind them, Captain Ilarion urged haste, his voice echoing through the crumbling passage. Suddenly, a section of the wall collapsed, blocking their path and sending debris cascading downwards. As Elend and Thalion fled through the collapsing tunnel, darkness threatened to consume them despite their desperate flight. Behind them, Captain Ilarion urged haste, his voice echoing ominously as debris cascaded downwards, blocking their path to safety. As Aeland and Thalion fled through the collapsing tunnel, darkness threatened to consume them despite their desperate flight. Captain Ilarion's urgent voice echoed behind them. "We must find another way out." Above ground, sentinels frantically dug through rubble to clear an alternative exit. As Euland and Thalion fled deeper into the collapsing tunnel, darkness threatened to overwhelm them despite their desperate flight. Behind them, Captain Ilarian's urgent voice echoed, "Wu must find another way out." Above ground, sentinels frantically dug through rubble to clear an alternative exit. As Elend and Thalion fled deeper into the collapsing tunnel, darkness threatened to consume them despite their desperate flight. Behind them, Captain Ilarian's urgent voice echoed, "Wu must find another way out." Above ground, sentinels frantically dug through rubble to clear an alternative exit, tendrils of smoke filling the air as debris rained down. As Euland and Thalion fled deeper into the collapsing tunnel, the young forest sentinel's voice rang out, "Here! I found another way!" Above ground, Captain Ilarian cheered as sentinels uncovered an alternative exit amidst the rubble. As Elendon and Thalion followed the young forest sentinel's voice, they discovered a narrow opening leading to an alternate route. Above ground, Captain Ilarian cheered as sentinels cleared the blocked path to safety. "Su!" As Euland and Thalion cautiously ventured through the narrow opening, they found themselves emerging into a dense thicket, the scent of damp earth filling their nostrils. Above ground, Captain Ilarian heaved a sigh of relief as sentinels secured their perimeter amidst the crumbling ruins behind them. The young forest sentinel led them deeper into the thicket, its verdant canopy shielding them from view. "Sa." As Elend and Thalion emerged from the narrow opening into a dense thicket, they took a moment to catch their breath amidst the crumbling ruins behind them. The young forest sentinel led them deeper into the foliage, its verdant canopy providing much-needed cover. Above ground, Captain Ilarian and his sentinels secured their perimeter, ensuring no further danger threatened their escape. "Su." As Eoland and Thalion caught their breath amidst the dense thicket, they turned to thank the young forest sentinel who had led them to safety. "We owe you our lives," Eoland said, extending a hand in gratitude. The sentinel smiled, taking it warmly. "I'm Lara. By the way." Above ground, Captain Ilarion reported no further signs of danger, allowing his sentinels to stand down temporarily. Exhausted but relieved, Eoland and Thalion leaned against a sturdy tree trunk within the dense thicket, grateful for Lyra's swift thinking. "We couldn't have made it without you," Thalion panted, clapping the young sentinel on the shoulder. Above ground, Captain Ilarion called for a temporary camp to be established while sentinels scanned the horizon for any signs of pursuit. Eoland and Thalion caught their breath amidst the dense thicket, grateful for Lyra's guidance as Captain Ilarion secured their perimeter above ground. As they surveyed their surroundings, Eoland noticed something amiss in the forest's usual serenity. "Lyra," she asked, "have you ever seen this area so still?" The young sentinel hesitated before responding. "It's too quiet, like it's holding its breath." Above them, Captain Ilarion reported strange movements near Eldoglan, prompting Eoland to suggest they investigate. Eoland's heart quickened as she considered Captain Ilarion's report, her mind racing with possibilities. "We must investigate," she urged, turning to Thalion and Lyra. The young sentinel nodded grimly, leading them deeper into the dense thicket towards Eldoglan. Above ground, Captain Ilarion organized his sentinels, ready for any threat that might lurk ahead. As Eoland, Thalion, and Lyra ventured deeper into the thicket, they noticed an eerie silence hanging over Eldoglan, the forest's usual symphony of wildlife noticeably absent. Above ground, Captain Ilarion and his sentinels grew tense as they scanned the horizon for any signs of danger. "We must find out what's causing this unnatural stillness," Eoland whispered to her companions. As Eoland, Thalion, and Lyra approached Eldoglan's outskirts, an ominous hush settled over the usually vibrant forest. Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled for silence as his sentinels readied their weapons, sensing unseen danger lurking in the shadows. We should split up to cover more ground, Eland whispered, dividing them into smaller teams to investigate the unsettling stillness. Eland Ithalian and Lyra split up, each team venturing deeper into Eldoglan's eerie silence. Above ground, Captain Ilarion divided his sentinels, ensuring they maintained visual contact with one another amidst the unsettling stillness. 2. As Elle and his team ventured deeper into Eldoglan, they discovered scattered remnants of a recent campsite, suggesting a hasty evacuation. Thalion cast a detection spell, revealing faint traces of dark energy lingering amidst the debris. Above ground, Captain Alarion's sentinels reported signs of struggle near the village, prompting Oland to suggest they reunite and investigate together. As Ole and his team investigated the abandoned campsite, they found signs of struggle suggesting a hasty evacuation. Thalion detected faint traces of dark energy lingering amidst the debris, prompting them to reunite with Captain Ilarion and Lyra's teams. "We must find out what happened here," Elinda urged, determination etched on her face. As Yul and his team reunited with Captain Ilarion and Lyra's teams, they shared their findings, concern etched on their faces. Thalion explained the dark energy traces at the campsite, while Lyra reported signs of struggle near the village. Above ground, Eldoglan began to stir ominously, hinting at an impending threat. Euland urged haste. "We must find out what's happening before it's too late." Olandi's heart pounded as she considered the impending threat, urging her allies to hasten their investigation. "We must find the source of this dark energy before it consumes Eldoglan," she declared, determination burning in her eyes. Thalion nodded grimly, weaving a more powerful detection spell, while Lyra led them deeper into the forest's heart. Above ground, Captain Ilarion organized his sentinels, ready to strike if necessary. Oland, Thalion, and Lyra ventured deeper into Elderglen's heart, following Thalion's detection spell towards the source of dark energy. Above ground, Captain Ilarion and his sentinels maintained vigilance, ready to strike if necessary. As they pressed on, an ominous cackle echoed through the forest, hinting at an impending confrontation. Pseudo. As Yul and his team followed Thalion's spell towards the dark energy source, Lyra suddenly halted, her face pale. "We're being watched," she whispered, ears perked. Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to maintain silence and readiness. Huss. As Yul and his team approached the dark energy source, Lyra's sensing abilities detected multiple watchers lurking in the shadows. Thalion's spell revealed several corrupted forest sentinels awaiting their arrival. Above ground, Captain Ilarion and his sentinels prepared for imminent battle, weapons drawn amidst the tense silence. As Yul and his team approached the dark energy source, Lyra's senses picked up on multiple hidden threats lurking in the shadows. "We're surrounded," she whispered urgently, prompting Olanded to ready her blade and Thalion to weave a protective spell. Above ground, Captain Ilarion ordered his sentinels to form a defensive perimeter, bracing for an ambush. As Yul and his team braced for battle, Lyra suddenly urged caution. "Wait. They're under mind control." Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to hold their fire, while Thalion hastily wove a counter spell to break the dark influence. As Talion's counter spell took effect, the corrupted forest sentinels' eyes flickered with confusion, their grips on weapons loosening. Lyra stepped forward, her voice soothing as she urged them to resist the dark influence. Above ground, Captain Ilarion ordered his sentinels to secure the freed captives, allowing Elendon and Thalion's teams to join forces against the remaining threat. As Talion's counter spell broke the dark influence, Elende urged caution. Wu must free them all before facing their master. Lyra nodded, leading her team to tend to each mind, controlled Sentinel while Captain Ilarion organized his sentinels to maintain security. As Eland and her team freed the last corrupted sentinel, Lyra gasped, "Their master approaches." Above ground, Captain Ilarion ordered his sentinels to form a defensive line, bracing for the impending confrontation. As Elendu's team braced for battle, Lyra suddenly urged caution. Wait, they're under mind control. Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to hold their fire, while Thalion hastily wove a counter spell to break the dark influence. Behind them, a chilling cackle echoed through the forest, hinting at an impending confrontation with the mastermind behind the corruption. As Talion's counter spell echoed through Elderglen, the last mind-controlled sentinel blinked awake, breaking the dark influence that held it. Lyra rushed to its side, offering comfort as Oland turned to face their true enemy, an ancient, twisted tree at the heart of the corruption. Captain Ilarion's sentinels readied their weapons above ground, ready for battle. As Euland approached the ancient, twisted tree at the heart of Elderglen's corruption, she felt its pulsating darkness resonate with her own inner turmoil. Lyra, tending to the freed sentinels, urged caution. We must act swiftly but carefully. Above ground, Captain Ilarion and his sentinels prepared for battle, their weapons gleaming amidst the gathering tendrils of smoke and darkness. Eoland approached the twisted tree, its dark energy pulsating with an eerie rhythm. "This is the source," she whispered, gripping her blade tightly. Behind her, Lyra tended to the freed sentinels, their minds still fragile from the dark influence. Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to stand ready, weapons drawn as they awaited Oland's command. Yolanda's heart raced as she approached the pulsating tree, its dark energy resonating with her own inner turmoil. "We must destroy it," she declared, steeling herself for the inevitable battle. Above ground, Captain Ilarion nodded grimly, ordering his sentinels to form a perimeter around the ancient tree. Yolanda's heart pounded as she faced the pulsating tree, its dark energy resonating with her own inner turmoil. "We must destroy it," she declared, steeling herself for the inevitable battle. Above ground, Captain Ilarion nodded grimly, ordering his sentinels to form a perimeter around the ancient tree. Lyra, tending to Friedkin nearby, urged caution. "Be careful, Elenda. Its power is great." As Yolanda prepared to strike the pulsating tree, Lyra's urgent whisper reached her ears. "Wait. There's a child trapped inside." Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to stand down temporarily, allowing Yolanda and Thalion to investigate. As Yolanda hesitated before striking the pulsating tree, Lyra's urgent whisper revealed a trapped child within. Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to stand down temporarily while they investigated this new development. "We must free the child first," Yolanda urged, her determination unwavering. Yolanda's heart raced as she considered Lyra's urgent warning, her resolve unwavering despite the trapped child within. "We must act swiftly but carefully," she urged, steeling herself for the impending rescue mission. Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to form a perimeter around the ancient tree, ready to intervene if necessary. Yolanda's heart pounded as she grappled with the revelation of a trapped child within the pulsating tree, her resolve unwavering but tempered by newfound urgency. Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to maintain vigilance while they devised a plan for rescue. Lyra approached Yolanda, offering an alternative approach. "We can't fight it. We must find another way." Yolanda's heart raced as she weighed Lyra's suggestion, her resolve unwavering but her approach shifting towards rescue rather than destruction. Above ground, Captain Ilarion nodded grimly, ordering his sentinels to secure the perimeter while they formulated a plan. "We'll need Thalion's help," Yolanda said, turning to the mystic scribe. Yolanda's heart raced as she considered Lyra's alternative approach, her resolve unwavering but her strategy shifting towards rescue rather than destruction. Above ground, Captain Ilarion nodded grimly, ordering his sentinels to secure the perimeter while they formulated a plan. "We'll need Thalion's help," Elend said, turning to the mystic scribe. Talion approached Elendil, his mind racing with potential spells to free the trapped child without destroying the tree. "We'll need a precise counter spell," he murmured, beginning to weave an intricate incantation. Above ground, Captain Ilarion and his sentinels maintained vigilance, ready to intervene if necessary as Oland and Lyra prepared to assist Thalion in rescuing the child. Thalion's counter spell began to take shape, tendrils of ethereal light weaving around his fingers as he muttered ancient incantations. Oland and Lyra exchanged determined glances, ready to assist in any way necessary. Above ground, Captain Ilarion urged his sentinels to remain vigilant, sensing an impending clash between Thalion's magic and the dark energy pulsating from the twisted tree. As Thalion's counter spell neared completion, Elandu whispered instructions to Lyra on how to safely extract the child once freed. Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to ready their weapons, anticipating a backlash from the tree. Suddenly, tendrils of dark energy surged from within, lashing out at Thalion's spells. Thalion's counter spell surged with light, pushing back against the dark energy lashing out from within the twisted tree. Eland and Lyra exchanged tense glances, ready to spring into action once the child was freed. Above ground, Captain Ilarion barked orders for his sentinels to form a defensive perimeter around them, weapons drawn as they braced for imminent battle. And as Talion's counter. Spell surged with light, pushing back against the dark energy lashing out from within the twisted tree. Eland's heart pounded in anticipation of the trapped child's imminent freedom. Lyra's fingers tightened around her bowstring, ready to spring into action once the child was rescued. Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to brace for an impending backlash as Thalion's spell threatened to overwhelm the pulsating darkness. Boo! As Talion's counter spell threatened to overwhelm the pulsating darkness, Elend whispered an encouraging word to Lyra. "We're almost there." Above ground, Captain Ilarion signaled his sentinels to ready their shields, anticipating the inevitable backlash from the twisted tree. Ye 10. As Talion's counter spell reached its zenith, the dark energy lashing out from the twisted tree began to waver, tendrils recoiling as the pulsating darkness dimmed. Oland nodded grimly at Lyra. Now, the young forest sentinel swiftly leaped forward, her lithe form darting between the retreating tendrils to grasp the freed child, cradling it close as she retreated to safety. Above ground, Captain Ilarion and his sentinels cheered their success while remaining vigilant for any lingering threat. As Lyra cradled the rescued child, its eyes fluttered open, gazing up at her with terror. She soothed. "You're safe now." Above ground, Captain Ilarion's sentinels scanned the perimeter, ensuring no further threats lurked amidst the dissipating darkness. As Lyra comforted the rescued child, Elend turned her attention back to Thalion's counter spell, noticing it flickered ominously. "Thalion, your spell, it's weakening," she warned. Above ground, Captain Ilarion ordered his sentinels to stand down gradually, sensing no immediate threat.